Hello, everybody. We are here today on one of the last couple of weeks in December, having some snacks.
I'm still chewing.
And we are in a different location. If you're watching us on YouTube, we've decided since our vacation podcast episode that natural light is way more appealing than the darkness in our podcast studio. The darkness.
Our podcast lair. It's so yeah, we took the long walk across the hall and we're on location.
We're on location on the block, just in my office.
Yeah.
That has the light. So.
And now we're staring at each other through a bunch of wires and microphones. I can see about a third of you.
I know.
But that's okay, because when I look this way,
you can see me.
I see the world and I see you. Yeah.
That's right. So today we are going to chat a little bit about next year. And with next year, we've got a lot of big plans, like I think a lot of our fellow entrepreneur listeners have. And one thing we want to focus on is just what we want to focus on. But we want to select a word that each of us really wants to live by over this next year.
Yeah, when we have not consulted with each other on, and I just kind of came up with mine. So I feel like we're gonna have the same word.
Okay, well, I want you to go first. I'm very interested to hear what your word is.
My word.
Your word.
This reminds me of a whole other conversation that we'll get to later if there's time.
Yeah.
I bet you know where I was thinking.
I do. And I'm hoping there's not time because
it might be like an activity we leave everybody with when we leave.
Yay.
So my word's kind of two different words that mean the same thing. So I'll go with the one that I don't think you chose.
Okay.
And so my word for the year ahead is deliberate.
Ooh, I like that. That is not my word.
Ooh, so and it's not even the same meaning as your word?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, because the other word I won't say, but if it is yours, then I'll be like, ha!
I think you might know. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Deliberate. I like deliberate.
So yeah, are we just saying the words first,
no,
and then we'll talk all about it? Or do I lie down on the couch now and you deconstruct my words for the rest of the year?
No, okay, I can tell you my word, and then I guess you can explain.
Can I guess the letter your word starts with?
Sure.
Does it start with an I?
No.
Oh, it's not the word I thought
Intention?
it was. Yeah.
No.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Well, it kind of has
because
the
deliberate
same
intentional
meaning.
were the same
Yeah,
thing.
well, mine is focus.
Okay.
So I think we're on the same, playing field here.
Well, you opened the show saying focus.
I know. I seriously, I didn't mean to do that.
You're getting ahead of your year.
I am.
Don't have any focus and be blurry until our kids, as our kids call it, flurry.
Flurry.
Be flurry until.
I love that. So much better than blurry.
Yeah, the picture's all flurry. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so yeah, so focus. Nice, focus. Which I should be doing now, so you can keep talking.
Well, okay, so deliberate. Talk to me about deliberate for 2020, what that means to you.
To me it is kind of a synonym of intentional. I just didn't want to say intentional.
Okay.
But the idea is, as we know, we've got a lot of different things that we do, a lot of things that we take on, and we have set a pretty good track for ourselves, I think, going forward. And for myself, I've set a pretty good track for myself. But there's distractions constantly, and there's things that get in the way, and whether it's personal, business, or whatever, it's easy to succumb to the temptation of whatever's out there. And sometimes that's okay, and it's fine to unplug and disconnect and all that. However, I want to make sure everything I'm doing in the year ahead, I'm going to keep focusing. Even though it's not my word.
I'm
She's
dripping water all over myself. Sorry.
You've got a new bottle too. She just dumped the old bottle, which I think was that in our first podcast.
Maybe.
I feel like you spilled water on yourself.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know how to drink.
You don't know how to drink.
Maybe that should be my word.
Learn how to drink. You know what? I'm liking our mobile studio because people are walking by here, and I feel like this is not Speaker's Corner, but remember Much Music? They used to have the thing behind them? Because we've got, you wouldn't believe how many fans are standing there right now. Anyway.
Focus.
That's your word. What I'm saying is deliberate right now.
Okay, all right.
So the idea is there's all kinds of stuff and noise, for example, people walking by behind you as I'm talking, and
Yeah.
everything that I do, I want to make sure is actually pointing towards an objective and a goal that I've had for the year. So even though there's goals and objectives and things that I want to achieve, it's the actions that I take over the course of the year that need to be deliberate and intentional. And if they don't fall within that sphere, it doesn't mean I stop cold turkey. It just means I want to be aware of what I'm doing. And when I feel myself getting distracted or off track,
Yeah.
I can hold it up against whatever the goal or objective is that I'm trying to focus on.
Right.
Not that I'm focusing, because that'll be you.
Okay.
And make sure that what I'm doing actually has a point and has an end game to it that is something I want to achieve.
Right.
Go.
What do you think are going to be the biggest challenges with your goal of being more deliberate?
I think the challenge with the word deliberate is that I can adjust deliberate to fit things that aren't my goals.
Right.
So I can deliberately slack off. You know what I mean? Like I can do things that are distracting.
Right.
And say to myself, I know I'm slacking off, but that's not the point. That's not what I mean when I say that, and that's and the same thing could be.
Well, are you just saying deliberate because you didn't want the same word, us to have the same word? So
No.
do you want to switch it to intentional, or you're good with deliberate?
I feel like they mean the same thing.
Okay.
So it's intiberate.
No, I like that word. It's
intiberate?
Deliberate. I think
No,
it's very
deliberate.
powerful.
I think is a little bit more hard. It's a little bit more. I don't know. It's like a solid meaning to it, which is I'm doing things for a purpose. That's what deliberate is. You know, intentional is the same idea, but that's kind of for an intended outcome. Deliberate means I'm doing things for an intended purpose.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a slight difference there. But for me, the challenge is going to be making sure to some degree that the purpose makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of the phase 2, is I can be doing things all day long that are working towards a purpose, but if the purpose is not in line, that's kind of the step before the goals and objectives.
Right.
Is the purpose of having the goal and objective. And so the deliberate part is making sure that whatever I do fulfills that step that ultimately ends up achieving what it is we want to achieve.
Right.
Because for us, a lot of our goals and objectives are not short-term, next day things.
Right.
Right. So in the series of goals and in the series of objectives and outcomes and things we want to achieve, the stuff that I'm doing has to be focused and deliberate on that.
Right. And I think we've done a pretty good job at establishing what our goals are for the year. We've got a pretty solid plan on how we're going to get there, and it's something that we're working towards, and I think we've got a good head start.
I think we've been on our way.
And that'll help.
And when we've taken the time to do what we need to do that's zoned in on that,
right,
the outcomes have shown, like in a very short period of time. This is in like the last month.
I know.
Even this podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. And I think for any entrepreneur looking to figure out what their word is, I think before they figure out what their word is, well, not before you figure out what your word is, but before you start living by that word, you need to establish what your goals and objectives are for this next year. Because without those, as you said, you could be very deliberate about the wrong things, which could end up being a disaster.
It could.
Sorry.
You're
swallowing a Swedish berry.
So good. So anyway, that's the short version of mine.
Okay.
As short as I can make it. So talk to me. Get focused.
Focused. Well, originally my word was going to be, oh God, now I forget what it was going to be. But it was kind of a form of, oh God, now I forget. But anyway, focus for me.
Focus.
I think you
need focus so you can remember.
For sure. No, I think in every aspect of my life, I think you'd agree that I need focus because I can go off.
I'd agree or you agree?
Well, I think you'd agree in our business. I find I get ideas all over the place and I'm constantly approaching you with new ways to grow our business or new ideas, and it might not necessarily align with the goals that we have in place, which can get very confusing, at least from I find when I go off on different tangents and start going starting to try to do things, and then they happen, and then I realize it really, why did I end up even doing this? Like, it was such a waste of time. It doesn't even align with the goals that I had originally.
Go on.
No, but do you agree? Like,
I think
I'm not going to be offended.
I think you're being a little hard on yourself. I think definitely both of us throw things off the wall.
Yeah,
often.
I think it's an entrepreneur thing.
We should have ideas, and you should. And I don't think what you're saying is you want to stop having ideas.
No, definitely not.
It's that step between idea and action.
Yeah.
And the evaluation of it, which is the same thing with being deliberate and being focused and all that is. Where, and see, I don't know, you tell me, like for you, I see focus more as a once you get down to task. But you're thinking more from the perspective of the focus of what your thought process is.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in all aspects of my life, like focus. Like I go down a rabbit hole with social media, and I can spend half an hour going through people's stories, and I'm like, crap, I just wasted 30 minutes. And
if it's a waste.
No, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people, like, I think there's some value in seeing what other people are doing and not copying it, but getting inspiration from what people are doing. And I find that really helps me to generate ideas for our business. So I don't think it's a waste, but I think I need to focus on how much time I'm spending on those activities and draw it back a little bit, because I do spend too much time on that right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think I'd agree with you there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on social media, but nowhere near what you are. But
it's a fine line.
But I'm doing other stupid things.
Well, and I think it's a fine line too, because you don't want to be completely off of it, because you might miss some important things, and you want to stay engaged with the community that you're building. And I love the community that I've built, and I love interacting with the people that are on my social media.
Well, and for you especially, and for me more so, it's getting acclimated or getting sort of aware of what it is people are doing, not just so that we learn best practices and all that, but so that we're in tune with whether it's our audience, whether it's our colleagues, whether it's our consumers.
For sure.
Social media has been and is not going away. It's the easiest way to stay connected.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, even this is being distributed in those platforms, right?
For sure.
So there's nothing wrong with being on that, but it's the nature of how you do it, how long you do it, and what you're doing when you're on it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, with that, even with our kids and like our family, like us, being more focused on, when the kids are at home, and, it's so easy to try to multitask, and while they're reading you a book, check out what's happening on social media, which I've been guilty of. But no, put down the damn phone and focus on what your kid is reading to you.
We see it, I mean, not even from the perspective of we should focus on them and not be on the phone. It's they're always watching how we're acting.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we took Josh out for his birthday dinner.
Yeah.
And how many times over the course of an hour and a half, did our 4-year-old say, "Give me your phone. I want to play on your phone. Give me your phone." We're there talking, like we were actually engaging with our kids, but they've been wired to think. And you mentioned, I mean, there was another kid at another table with a tablet. But they also see us.
Yeah.
The moment we can feel the vibrate or we see a light flash, like, crap, we need to see what thing that can wait an hour just popped up.
For sure.
Right. That being said, in defense of kids aside, because I think from a kid's perspective, we do need to be more disciplined with that sort of stuff. But there is a moment where, from a focus perspective or all that, when something hits and you just need to get it happening, whether it's on social media or whatever, you need to just, sometimes dropping everything makes sense.
For sure.
Because there's all kinds of things that we come up with, we're driving, whatever. We talk about something, okay, we'll get to this when we get to the office, we'll get to this when we get home. But if we have the capacity to do it in the moment and it's for a purpose, excuses can be made.
For sure. Yeah, so I think overall focus is the name of my game this year. I think establishing and again, just like having those goals and knowing what they are, and if I wow, that's really loud.
Wait till I chew this nut.
Oh God.
Just testing the acoustics.
Anyway, what was I going to say? Now you've made me lose focus.
This was all part of your test.
But knowing the goals that I have for this year, and when I'm presented with something, or if I get an idea in my head and I say to myself, okay, is this within those boundaries of the goals? And if I say no, then I'm like, okay, I got to move on from this, even though it's still an idea that I might, down the road have a new goal and that will fit within that goal. But I think that will be really helpful for me in terms of not wasting my time and making sure I'm focusing on the right things.
I think that that's a great word.
Why, thank you.
And I say that deliberately.
Thank you.
In some respect, I'm happy that our words are different but aligned as much as they are.
For sure. You know what, actually going back to, remember when I said I forgot the word I had before, it was intention.
Oh.
I just don't know why. I just thought, that's what it was. But I feel like intention also really goes hand in hand with focus.
Well, I don't know about you, but you brought this up as an idea before our last podcast.
Yeah.
Where we were about to record, and I was just this was the word that came up initially, was deliberate, it was the same word. So,
okay.
But over the course of the week thinking about it,
yeah.
there are honorable mentions. I don't know about you, like have you kind of burnt through things that hit on some cylinders but don't quite make the grade as the all-encompassing absolute theme for the year? Like, are there secondary thoughts of like, okay, I'm gonna have focus, so I don't want to get off track with a bunch of other words.
Right.
That's it. Or
no,
intention.
Intention was the one, but intention I felt was missing something. I don't know what it was, but it was just missing something. So I thought focus was more all-encompassing. But other than that, there was really nothing else that I could think of.
I think, yeah, when we're talking about something that's going to frame the year, you need something within which everything can fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's words and there's themes to the way I want to act.
Yeah. And
whether it's personality traits or whether it's things to accomplish, but those are silos within the year. And if I lived my year around that, I would miss out on everything.
For sure. Here. Yeah. So, it has to be a very broad word, I think, in order for you to be able to.
Like happiness.
Yeah. Joy. Joy is a good one. Joy is something that I thought about.
I could use some joy in my life. I'm just kidding. I've never been more joyful.
Yeah. But if you are still, like, I encourage everybody to try to think about a word for the year. And if you're struggling, I think if you look back to your year and evaluate, where areas where you might have struggled or you had some, issues just moving the needle on something, it can probably help you to determine what word you want to use.
It's a better way to set a resolution.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this is a New Year's resolution that isn't going to put you in a position where you feel, I don't know what the word is, where you feel threatened or you feel fear of failure or things like that. If you set something to frame your year, it's something you can just judge your actions by. And so, for example, if I wanted to go to the gym more as my resolution, I'm going to be deliberate about that.
Yeah.
Or you're going to focus on that.
Right.
And so, and if it brings you joy or whatever, like whatever your word is, it's do the things that fall within what you want your year to be.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think it's hard there's nothing wrong with having a word that's continuing a good thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you've been deficient in, but that's probably the easiest way to identify what you want to better yourself with for the year ahead.
For sure.
Because if it's already perfect, then your word is what? Status quo?
I'm good.
Yeah, the word is steady.
Steady as she goes. Yeah. So.
But yeah.
Cool.
So we're probably gonna have, I guess, one more episode this year, like right at the end of the year.
Probably, yeah.
So
we can
yeah,
fit it in,
but this gives everybody a good week to
think
think
about
of your word.
Yeah, and even something I've been thinking about doing with our family is a vision board for next year. And if you are into those, I think incorporating your word into the vision board will help you create a really strong vision board. So maybe our kids can
Focus on it.
Figure out a word as well. I'd be curious to know what their word would be.
Well, you know what? Let's get their words. By the next episode, we'll report on what our kids' words are.
Yeah, and if you guys want to comment in whatever platform you're listening to us on what your word is or what you think you want to make your word, let us know.
Bird's the word.
And we received our first rating on iTunes, Apple Podcast. From it might have been my mom. I haven't asked her.
Yeah, like if it was you hiding behind a pseudonym.
No, but it was a very, very, very nice review, and we really, really appreciate it. So if anybody has any other feedback for us, we are so grateful to receive anything, even if it is from a mom. No, but honestly, it made us feel really good, and
there is a real you feel gratified, and we're not expecting to get awards and
God no.
like we get a subscriber and we're like, oh my god.
Yeah, we're in that stage where like any type of view or follow is like the best.
Yeah, we just want to know that. It's cliche, but if there's one person that this is helping, then we're helping each other with it, right?
We are.
I wouldn't have chosen a word if we didn't have this podcast.
That's true.
So now.
Yeah, you're bettering yourself.
Because
of this podcast.
Pretty much this has made me a special person.
Anyway,
right.
So thank you for listening again.
Thanks for joining us in our remote on location.
Yeah.
I think the next one, maybe we'll even do it from another location.
Switch it up.
Or, let us know if you like this one better.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go back to Mexico.
One thing we've learned with podcasting is that you really don't need any fancy equipment whatsoever. We went on vacation. If you saw our last episode, we had a voice notes on your phone, and we're using the same camera that we used at the vacation. Some natural light, that's all you need. So don't try to overthink things like starting a podcast, because honestly, it doesn't take a lot. You just got to do it. And focus.
These things honestly look cool, but don't, honestly, I think the sound was better when I talked into my phone.
Yeah, or just as good. So.
Just as good.
But anyway.
I think if I talk like this, it's nice and clear. But the more I want to look at the camera, my voice starts to tail.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We hope you have a great week. I'm cutting you off. That's right. I'm making sure you're not going to talk about the other thing you wanted to talk about.
Oh, you just reminded me.
Not happening.
If you want to know about the other thing, because it's awesome, just send me a private message or comment.
Anyway.
I'll hook you up.
All right. Good night. Goodbye.
Good day to you all.
Signing off. Have a good day.
And a happy, happy holiday.